Hello and welcome to another redline. This time we're gonna give tips and tricks on NovaTale's artwork. We are gonna do very few adjustments as Nova already did a really amazing job. So this was the reference that NovaTale provided for the artwork, and I already can tell that they did a lot of study already. First, we can see that NovaTale did a dynamic curve. I already explained this before in the past, but I can make a video about it. Basically, these curves are made to add dynamism to the character. They are good for driving attention to your focal point. In this occasion, it's probably the head. If you look at the arms and the legs, they are all directed towards the same direction. That's what a dynamic curve does. This is also accompanied by the silhouette of the character, which also is going to complement this focal point. Something that it's also really well done is the balance of the silhouette. You can see that there is a straight line between the feet and the shoulder, which gives it balance enough for it not to look like it's going to fall down. So overall, the anatomy is really good. I am only going to make a few adjustments at the hands, but who doesn't struggle with hands? Even hands pros struggle at hands. I also noticed that the hands were a different size, so I'm gonna adjust that later on. In this part, I made the shoulder a little bit more spiky to resemble more of the reference that had this very strong spiky triangle shape there. To emphasize even more on the pose. For a personal choice, I decided to emphasize this perspective of the character towards the camera. Something I noticed is that one foot is behind the other. So this way I would make the elements that are more at the front even bigger than they already are. I did this correctly in position wise. However, I think this exaggeration of elements are gonna make it even more drastic of a dynamism. At the knees, even though one leg is under the other one, it was a bit too long in comparison to the one that's stretched. Since the longer leg is supposed to go at the back, it should instead be shortened and the other one elongated. By shortening it a bit, it looks like it's going behind. That's why I decided to make the feet even bigger and the upper torso part smaller to give that deeper impression, perspective, look, thingy, whatever thing. Here I made a little adjustment based on the real life reference of a fist, of how it kind of goes downward towards the little finger. I struggled with hands a lot, mostly because I didn't want to go out of style and I keep feeling like I kinda switch its styles. However, Nova said that I did a really good job at that. Thank you, Nova! Here I rotated the upper torso to emphasize even more the pose, to exaggerate it even more. As the style is kind of cartoonish, I thought it was a nice feature to add. I also made that the elbow points out outside, as it's supposed to go to that direction, depending on where your foreground is pointing out. And once again, I made the further feature smaller to give it more perspective look. Then there's me modifying the hair, and I just couldn't feel satisfied and I didn't understand why, but then I noticed that the direction the body is going to should be the opposite of the hair direction, as the hair is being guided to it. So that's why I decided to just flip it to the other direction, which also helped out with the silhouette. This way, the shoulder that had this very triangle shape is now going to be viewable at the silhouette too. As the hair is still very fluffy for the character design, I still added a very small strand at the other side so it doesn't lose any volume. And that's it. There was not much to be done. Nova already did an amazing job. I really love the pose, and I think just the very small things to work on, like anatomy and hands. But other than that, the artwork works perfectly fine. So yeah, good job. And well, I really enjoyed doing this red line. It's very small, but I hope that you like it too. Please don't forget the patrons get to submit their art and get it reviewed too. And these are also early accesses for patron lower tiers, in case you may want to learn something. I am also working on more tutorials. If you want one based on the dynamic curve, I'm definitely gonna do it. Thank you so much for watching and see you next time. Don't forget that we also have new merch. There's new merch coming here. There are new standees and there are gonna be new prints designs, especially one of our favorites, the Miku. So you just cannot miss it. Thank you guys. Bye bye.